All right, here we are. We are going to edit a dialogue scene today. I've got music in there just because it sounded cool. It has absolutely nothing to do with this video, which again is editing a dialogue scene that was shot using triangle coverage. Before we get started, I want to let you know that I have downloaded my clips. They are on the desktop. I am going to go ahead and show you how to rename those because that is important. You want to make sure that if you go in here, you highlight all of them and then you click rename. You will then need to select format, and then you're going to select name and index. And then you can type in what you're going to call it. And I'm going to call this TC, and I'm doing that for triangle coverage, TC underscore. And then it's going to start renaming them at 1. And now you can see here they are all in order. If I want to preview one, all I have to do is hit the space bar, click on it one time, hit the space bar. It'll open up a preview of any of those clips. So there we are. There are my clips. And now I am ready to start editing. I'm going to go into Premiere to do that. I am in 2023. You might be in 22 or 23. Ultimately, they're going to be pretty similar. So the process either way is going to be the same. And Premiere is opening. Oh, Premiere is open. There we go. Bring the music back out. All right. As you can see, I have something here called Dialog Scene V1. I went ahead and created that project so I would be ready for this. So I've got Dialog Scene 1 set up now. If your workspaces don't look like this, for example, if something is out of whack, if you're like, hey, this doesn't look right, if your VU meter is somewhere random, if things are not the way they're supposed to be, the first thing you need to do is go to Window. You're going to hover over Workspaces and make sure you are on Editing. I know that I am because I have the dot right here. I'm still going to need to reset this, though. I'm going to go down to Reset to Saved Layout, and it will put the editing workspace back to its default settings. And that's where we all want to be to make sure we are editing in the same workspace. So now I've got that. I'm going to go and import my media. Remember to import, you just double click in the empty space down here. I did that. My clips are going to be on the desktop in the folder called 3B Test Results Dempsey, and you can see I have my clips here. I could bring them in individually. I could highlight all of them by clicking on one and holding down Shift, clicking the others. In this case, I'm going to bring in that whole folder, so I'm going to click on the folder, click Import, and now you can see that it has imported my clips. And I can click on this and double click here, and I can actually see thumbnails of my files. It'll take a minute for the thumbnails to populate, but I have that. One thing that you'll notice is it's TC1, 10, 11. If I go down, it's 1, 2, 6. So these are not in order. So if you want to order it by the way you shot it, which is probably the way you named it, if you click Sort Icons and then select Name, it will then put those in there in order for you. I'm going to go back up to my project panel, though. I want to create a sequence. This is of utmost importance. In this area, you need to right-click, click New Item, click Sequence. Now, that's going to pop open this window, which, if you've done this before, will be defaulted to AVCHD 1080p 1080p 30. That's what we are going to edit in. And again, this is called Dialog Scene V1, so that's what I'm going to name this. So I'm going to say Dialog Scene V1, and I'm going to click OK. And now you can see here I have a sequence. This is where I will start putting together my timeline. I'm going to do that using my test result clips. So I'm going to come up here, and I can see what my shots look like. So by using this visual way of organizing, it's probably a little bit better than by doing it just by name. The name thing works really well if you've got a lot of stuff and you know what you're working with. In this case, I want to make sure I can kind of see. So I'm going to highlight all of these clips because I can tell these are my master shots. Excuse me. I am going to organize these by labeling all of them, and I'm going to give them a color. In this case, I'm going to say mango. And now when I drag that clip there, you can see, well, before I do that, you can see that it says keep existing settings. Remember, anytime we see this, we keep existing settings because we set up the project a certain way. But now you can see that my clip is in mango. I'm going to go ahead and delete that just to show you the difference there. I'll leave that so you can see the mango clip. Again, the first time I drag a clip out there, I want to keep existing settings. And now I'm just going to drag this clip over, and you can see that it's blue. This is the default color of our clips. I'll delete both of those. That means I'm going to get the warning message again. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and highlight my clips of Eduardo. I'm going to right click and I'm going to label these. And in this case, I don't even know what cerulean is. So let's click on that and see. So now if I drag that over here, oh, it's kind of a bluish aqua green kind of color. So there we go. We've got cerulean and we've got mango. Now I want to get my shots of Giselle, and it's kind of odd because I have another master shot down here. I remember why. Okay. If I had named these things when I imported them, I would have noted that this was the wide shot of my insert that I was going to get here. So I am going to label the shots of Giselle. I'm going to right click after I've highlighted those. And if you don't see how I'm doing that, I'm clicking on the first one, holding shift and clicking the last one in order. So 7, 8, 9, right click and then label, and let's go with magenta. And then these are my insert shots. So let's go ahead and label that as well. So let's go with, I don't know, iris. Let's do Caribbean. I don't know. Oh, wait, forest. That's got to be cool. So let's just see what forest. Yep, it's green. There we go. Okay, so I have color-coded my shots. You can actually see the color coding here in this view. You don't see the color coding in this view, but you can actually see the clips, so you don't necessarily need to see the color coding in this view. So I'm going to work out of this right now because ultimately I want to see it color-coded over here. The first shot we are going to use is always going to be our master shot. It doesn't always have to be, but it's a good place to start. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click onto this last one because I believe the third take was our best take. So I'm going to go back to right before he starts. And what I want y'all to understand, when you are editing a dialogue scene, you're editing conversation, you're editing talking. That means that you are really focused on the sound first approach to editing. So I am going to do this based on sound, and then I'll try to make it work based on video. So I'm going to just come right here. I'm going to hit the space bar to play it in my source panel. And then right before he starts talking, you hear him say, ha. I'm going to come back using the left arrow on the keyboard to right before he starts talking, and then I'm going to press the letter I on the keyboard. Or I could press Mark N, either one, they're going to set that. And now I'm going to drag this master shot down to my sequence. Again, the first time you put a clip down there, and if you delete something and then need to put another clip on there, you are going to get this message. We are going to keep existing settings. So now I want to work with this. Before I do that, I want y'all to notice right here, it says linked selection. All right. If that is on, that is fine. I just always turn that off. When it is blue, it is on. That means that when I click on this, it's going to highlight the video and the audio. I usually work with those two things separate. So actually I'll leave it on for now and then I'll show you how to turn it off in just a minute. I am going to zoom in on my timeline. You can come down to this and drag that in and kind of stretch that out. And this is as long as my video is going to be right now. It's not going to be any longer than this. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom in to this amount so we can see that. And now I'm going to play this so you can hear what we have.
Hi, thank you for meeting with me this morning.
Sure thing. It sounded urgent when your secretary called.
I'm sorry if it alarmed you. It's just that we have the results of your test ready.
Really? How did it turn out?
And that's it. That's all we're doing. So really, this is only going to be about this long. I can trim it right here. All right. So now I have a shot, right? But if you shoot your entire video in a wide shot, it is going to be so boring and people are not going to want to watch that. So what we're going to do now is we are going to take advantage of some of these other shots that we have, these other color-coded shots, and we are going to cut in to some single shots of our actors. Remember, in triangle coverage, you have the master shot that has both of them, and then you're going to have the single from either side. So there's our single of him and our single of her, and that is going to create a triangle. So we are going to use those shots when we're putting this together. The way you're going to do it is you're going to go through and find the best of the clips. In this case, I'm pretty sure this was probably, let's see if this one was good. And y'all are going to do the whole thing over again. Let's go 5, 4, 3. Now, pause. You'll notice that when I was counting them in, I said 5, 4, 3, and then we skipped 2 and 1. They're not really skipping 2 and 1. They're saying 2 and 1 in their head. I'm counting 2 and 1 in my head, and then I'm pointing to them. When we were recording this, I didn't say 2, 1 out loud because I did not want to step on Eduardo's line. So here we go again, and let me get it queued up. 4, 3. So what I want to do when I am editing this is I want to find right when the sound starts to come out. All right, and I feel like that's pretty good right there. I just used the left arrow to go over a few frames. Now I'm going to press I, and I'm going to hit the space bar to play it.
Hi, thank you for meeting with me this morning.
All right, so he says, hi, thank you for meeting with me this morning. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to come here, and I'm going to look for where he says that.
Hi.
And I have it queued up to where I think is pretty good. And I'm going to drag this clip down on top of this, and now I'm going to play it.
Hi, thank you for meeting with me this morning.
All right, it's pretty close. It's off just a little bit. I wonder if I were to drag this all the way over, if it would work better.
Hi, thank you for meeting with me this morning.
It kind of sounds a little weird. The pacing may be off just a little bit, but I think overall he did a pretty good job. But what I'm going to do is I am going to, I know that I probably want to use the audio from the master shot for this. You can use whichever one is better. I can just tell just by looking at it, though, that the VU meter, like the levels here, are a little better on that shot. So I'm probably going to use that. So I'm going to go ahead and mute track 2. And now I'm going to edit this in a way that matches.
Hi, thank you for meeting.
Where I can trim, hopefully, the action. So here we go.
Hi, thank you for meeting with me this morning.
Now you can see
Hi, thank you for meeting with me.
that he leans up and says that.
Hi, thank you for meeting with me.
Now, here he is in the process of leaning. He's in the process. He leans up, he's done, and here he's done as well. That's pretty good, but I'm wondering if there's a place where I can match up that action even better. 4, 3. So I'm going to start it right here before he starts talking. I'm going to press I. And I'm going to drag this down, and I'm going to put it here. Let's see if this matches up.
Hi, thank you for meeting with me this morning.
So he does a great job of saying his line exactly the same way. But what I want to do is I want to see if that action matches. Again, if I can cut it, and I'm going to mute the track down here for a moment. If I can trim it to this, and let's see.
Hi, thank you for meeting with me.
All right. So what I am trying to do is not working. So what I want to do is extend this, and I want to see if we can match it to where he's moving.
Hi, thank you for
Aha, there we go. Hopefully y'all saw that. All right. If I trim it, he is in the process of leaning forward, and there he finishes leaning forward. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for that little magic moment in the edit where we can continue the action
Hi, thank you for meeting with me this
from one shot, this shot, into this shot. Okay.
Hi, thank you for meeting with me this morning.
Okay. So that lines up almost perfectly. So it's really important for you to be able to find opportunities
Hi, thank you.
to match the action. Okay. So right here, again, he's leaning in, he finishes his lean in the next cut. So that is a great place for us to use a match action. Now, I know now that I don't need this shot. This was the one from earlier that didn't work as well. So I'm going to delete that. And I'm going to go ahead and drag this up to here, even though I'm not going to use the audio on track 2. I'm using the audio from track 1. I'm going to leave it in there for just a minute, just in case I need to kind of clean it up here in just a little bit. I'll try to show you what that means.
Hi, thank you for meeting with me this morning.
Now, that was great. That was great. I love that action, the fact that he leaned forward. He said the lines the same way. That was awesome. So here we go.
Hi, thank you for meeting with me this morning.
Now, if you look at our script, you will know that she responds to him. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and trim this clip down, and I am going to leave this clip in here for just a minute. Let's see.
Sure thing. It sounded urgent when your secretary called.
I'm sorry.
So we could do that. We could cut from
Hi, thank you for meeting with me this morning.
back to the master shot, but we've already seen them. I don't need to keep seeing them in the wide shot. So what I want to do now is find the part where
Sure thing. It
she says sure thing, and I'm going to leave my playhead right there because that's where the sound starts. And I'm going to come here and I'm going to see if I have a good clip of her saying sure thing. So I'm going to double click and listen. All right. 5.
This morning.
Sure thing. It sounded urgent when your secretary called.
I'm sorry.
So that's one option. All right. Let me listen to the next one.
Thank you for meeting with me this morning.
Sure thing. It sounded urgent when your secretary called.
All right. Now you'll notice that
Thank you for meeting with
the
me this
camera is
morning.
kind of moving.
Sure thing. It sounded
So I had my hand on the camera and I shouldn't have. So I don't necessarily like that one. So I'm going to go with the first one here. And you'll notice I've got this third one. I'm going to explain what I'm going to do with that one here in just a minute, but I'm going to go ahead and use this.
Hi, thank you for meeting with me this morning.
Now, again, she says sure thing. So I'm going to come back to the beginning of her saying that. I'm going to press I on the keyboard, and I'm going to drag this clip down, and I want it to start right here. Now, remember, she says sure in this clip, and in this clip, that's what she's saying as well. So let's see what that sounds like.
Sure thing. It sounded urgent when your secretary called.
It's off a little bit. It's off just a little bit. So let me see if I can figure out what exactly the issue is.
Sure.
Okay, so right there is when she starts to make a sound. And right there, I believe up here is where she starts to make a sound. So let me see if this lines up a little better.
Sure thing. It sounded urgent when your secretary called.
I'm sorry.
All right, so we're going to have an issue. She did not say the line exactly the same in both of these. So in this case, I'm going to have to cut to her audio down here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come to this clip, which I don't need anymore, down here, and I'm going to cut this. and I am going to only have her audio in that clip.
Morning.
Sure thing. It sounded
Now, hopefully y'all notice that. This plays,
With me this morning.
sure thing. It
flashed, and then it goes to this shot. That looks really bad. Okay, but remember, at the beginning of this, I said you were editing for sound first. So what I care about is, what does this sound like? So I'm going to close my eyes, and I encourage you to do the same thing. Close your eyes and hit play.
Hi, thank you for meeting with me this morning.
sure thing. It sounded urgent when your secretary called.
I'm sorry.
Okay, so if you listen to that without looking at it, it sounded good. Now, the audio levels are a little off. That's fine. We're going to adjust that in just a minute. But again, right now, I am just controlling the pacing of the dialogue.
With me this morning.
Sure thing. It sounded urgent when your secretary called.
I'm sorry.
Now, I don't want to hear him say, I'm sorry. I'm going to zoom in on this clip a little bit here so you can kind of see that audio there. So you can see here.
I'm sorry.
So he says, I'm sorry, right there. So I'm going to come back just a little bit, and I'm going to cut this. And again, to cut, I'm just going to hit C on the keyboard. It goes to the razor blade. To get back to the arrow, I press V, and now I can delete that. So now I am going to go from,
Morning.
Sure thing. It sounded urgent when your secretary called.
so now I'm going to go to the part where he responds to that. Again, I'm going to go back to him. So I actually like the T6 clip of him, so I'm going to stick with that. So let's come back.
I'm sorry if it alarmed you. It's just that we have the. Hi, thank you for meeting with me this morning.
Sure thing. It sounded urgent when your secretary called.
So he starts to talk.
I'm sorry if it alarmed you. It's just that we have the results of your test ready.
So he says, I'm sorry if it alarms you. It's just we have the results of your test ready. So I am now going to take that, and remember, he is on track 2, so I'm going to put that there. And now I'm just going to play this.
Called.
Oh, and I've got that muted. So let me unmute that.
Secretary called.
I'm sorry if it alarmed you. It's just that.
All right.
Secretary called.
I'm sorry if it alarmed you. It's just that we have the results.
Okay, so I feel like there needs to be a little bit of a pause right there.
I'm sorry if it.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over a few frames, and that's not much, right? Let's see. If I go to the end of her clip, all right, so we're at the end of hers. So I'm just going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's just do 5 and move his clip over. And now let's listen to this.
Secretary called.
I'm sorry if it alarmed.
Again, I don't know if you were watching that, right? If you watch this and listen to it,
Secretary called.
I'm sorry if it alarmed.
it sounds really bad. But if you close your eyes and listen to it,
Your secretary called.
I'm sorry if it alarmed you. It's just that we have the.
it's not as jarring, right? It's kind of weird. Our eyes mess up our ears in this situation. If there's like something visually that's wrong, it makes us hear it wrong. Now, there is a gap right there in sound, so there's like a deafening silence there for a minute. So we're going to fix that in just a minute as well. As a matter of fact, I do kind of feel like that was a little long, so I'm going to bring that back.
Secretary called.
I'm sorry if it alarmed you. It's just that we have the results of your test ready.
All right, so it's just that we have the results of your test ready. So now I'm going to explain what I'm going to do with this shot. So I'm going to double click on this, and what I want you to think about is if you looked at the script, at this point, she is like, oh, wait, they've got my test results. So she leans in, and what I want us to do is kind of visually bring the audience into her mindset a little bit more. So that's what we're doing here. And 3, 2.
Hi, thank you for meeting with me this morning.
Sure thing. It sounded urgent when your secretary called.
I'm sorry if it alarmed you. It's just that we have your test results ready.
So she says, really, right here.
Really, how did it turn out?
Test results ready.
So right there is where she starts to talk. So I'm going to press I because, again, I'm going based off of the audio. So I'm going to play. I'm going to skip just a couple of frames, and now I'm going to drag her clip down. And again, she's on video track 3, audio track 3. So let's listen to it.
Test ready.
Really? How do you turn it out?
And that's it. That's the end of our video. So I could just end this right there. I will for now, and then we'll look at it here in just a minute. So let's zoom out, and now let's watch our movie.
Hi, thank you for meeting with me this morning.
Sure thing. It sounded urgent when your secretary called.
I'm sorry if it alarmed you. It's just that we have the results of your test ready.
Really? How do you turn it out?
Okay, so now if you're listening to that, the pacing is not fantastic. Like, we could tighten this up a little bit. One thing that was a definite problem is right here.
Hi, thank you for meeting.
He sounds demonic because he sounds like he's two different people talking. This is where I'm going to turn off my linked selection. Again, that's going to be right here. I'm going to click on that. And now I'm going to select only the audio on track 1 and hit delete. So as it turns out, I am only going to be using
Hi, thank you for meeting with me this morning.
Sure thing. It sounded urgent when
the audio from the single shots. And that's probably a good thing because the camera is kind of the same distance from both of them in this. So the audio level is going to be pretty much the same. If I zoom in here on this level, you can see it's pretty close. One thing I want to talk about, and then we'll go back in and we'll really visually fix this, is let's focus on our audio.
Hi,
You'll notice when this plays that the audio is only coming in
Hi, thank you for meeting with me this
on the right side, right? This is our VU meter. This is the left. This is the right. The reason that it is only coming in on the right is because we only have one microphone plugged into the camera. It is plugged into input 2. Input 2 goes into the right channel. If we had another microphone plugged in into 1, it would go into the left channel, and we would be able to split those and use the one that worked the best for the scene. What I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to take the audio from the right on both of these, and I'm going to put it on the left. And the way we do that is by right-clicking or highlighting all of the clips there. Right-clicking, and then we're going to go into audio channels. Under audio channels, we have this window. I am going to turn off the left. I do not want the left audio, but I want the right audio to be on the left. I want this right audio to be on the left. Once I do that, so you see everything is here on the right, I'm going to click OK. And now when I play this, if you watch the VU meter over here.
Hi, thank you for meeting with me this morning.
Sure thing. It sounded urgent when your secretary called.
I'm sorry if it alarmed you. It's just that we have the results of your test ready.
Really? How do you turn it out?
That's already better. Now, the audio is still kind of low. So what I would encourage you to do is go into each clip and adjust the audio individually. On this clip, I'm going to right click. I'm going to go to audio gain. Under audio gain, I like to go to max peaks, and I'm going to set my max to -6, and I'm going to hit enter. So I'm going to hit enter, and now that clip is adjusted. You'll see right here that this is a lot louder than these clips. So when I play that,
Hi, thank you for meeting with me this morning.
Sure thing. It sounded urgent.
you'll see hers is a lot quieter. So I'm going to right click, audio gain, normalize max, -6, enter. And then I'm going to listen.
This morning.
Sure thing. It sounded urgent when your secretary called.
I'm
Now-
sorry if it alarmed you.
I'm going to do that for each of the clips. You can technically do this for all of the clips at one time just by highlighting all of them, but it is going to it's going to make the change based off of the loudest volume in all of the clips. So not each clip individually. So if you got one that's really low and one that's quiet that are louder, then it's going to adjust based off of the one clip, and it's going to mess up everything. So we're going to listen to this now.
Hi, thank you for meeting with me this morning.
It sounded urgent when your secretary called.
I'm sorry if it alarmed you. It's just that we have the results of your test ready.
Really? How do you turn it out?
Now, the problem is this was an on-camera microphone, So the quality is not fantastic. It would have been a lot better if we had a microphone that we used as a boom mic and into the shot. That's not what we did, so we're going to have to work with this for now. There are some other audio things that we might be able to do. We will look at those here in just a minute. But let's go in now and kind of fix the way that this is shot. So,
Hi, thank you for meeting with me this morning.
you notice how quickly it flashes this frame.
Sure thing. Is that it?
What I'm going to do is, if you'll notice, I am not checked. My linked selection is unchecked. So that's going to allow me to edit each clip individually. So now I covered up that gap. So when I play
Me
this,
this morning.
Sure thing. Is that it? Or did when your secretary called?
I'm sorry.
black flash, don't want that there. So I'm going to click and drag hers there.
Called.
I'm sorry if it alarmed you. It's just that we have the results of your test ready.
And
Really?
black flash. All right. So now I'm just going to drag his down there. Okay. Essentially what we have here is a situation where, and I just did this to fill the gap there, we have what I call ping pong editing. And that is where it goes from one character talking and we see them to the other character talking and we see them. Then back to one talking, see them, then to the other, see them. I want to try to avoid this. I want to do something called J and L cuts. We kind of have a J cut or an L cut even here.
Hi, thank you for meeting with me this morning.
Let's see if we can have any sound there.
Hi, thank you for meeting.
Now, I don't know if y'all noticed what I did. If I play this, there's no sound here.
Hi, thank
It's incredibly quiet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag that room tone sound over.
Hi, thank you for meeting with me this morning.
Super quiet, and then she starts to
Sure
talk,
thing. Is
and
that
we see her. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on her clip, and before he finishes talking,
Hi, thank you for meeting with me this
I'm going to click her audio or clip and drag her over.
Thank you for meeting with me this morning.
sure thing? Is that it? Or did when your secretary called?
All right. Now let's see if we can.
Me this morning.
Sure thing. Is that it? Or did when your secretary called?
I'm sorry if it alarmed you.
Wonder if I can drag this over a little bit, if that'll kind of smooth out.
For meeting with me this morning.
Sure thing. Is that it? Or did when your secretary called?
I'm sorry if it alarmed you. It's just that we have the results of your test ready.
Really? How did it turn out?
And I'm going to click the end of this clip and drag it over, and hopefully that'll kind of fill. So now we don't have any voids in the sound. One thing that you might could do is, if you needed to, find a part of the clip where there is no sound and drag it down. And, or in this case, I'm going to drag it up because my 5.1 channels, my surround sound channels, are kind of blocking me. I'm going to right click in this space and delete tracks, and I'm going to delete all empty audio tracks. So that got rid of those, and now I'm going to drag this down to the very bottom, and that creates a new layer. So I have now audio track 4. I don't have anything on 1 right now, but I have 4 layers.
Hi, thank you for meeting with me.
So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to duplicate this layer and see if I can use it to kind of fill in some of the spots. So I'm going to press Option, click on the clip, and I'm going to drag it down. And now I have this audio in another place to kind of fill in gaps.
Thank you for meeting with me this morning.
Sure thing. Is that it? Or did when your secretary called?
I'm sorry if it alarmed you.
And so this is a little abrupt right there. So I'm going to click Option. I'm going to drag and now created another copy.
Secretary called.
I'm sorry if it alarmed you. It's just that we.
And I'm going to do it again. I'm going to put it right here. And I'm actually going to do it twice because I'm going to do one at the end as well. So now I have room tone in places where there could conceivably be silence. So I'm going to hit play.
Hi, thank you for meeting with me this morning.
Sure thing. Is that it? Or did when your secretary called?
I'm sorry if it alarmed you. It's just that we have the results of your test ready.
Really? How did it turn out?
All right. So again, I want to go back to this, right? So here we Now see
Meeting
her.
with me this morning.
Sure thing. It sounded urgent when you're
Now I want to do another thing, right? I want to bring his clip over here and then kind of trim hers off.
urgent when your secretary called.
I'm sorry if it alarmed you. It's just that we have the results.
But there, we see him
I'm
before
sorry.
we hear him.
When your secretary called.
I'm sorry if it alarmed you. It's just that we have the results of your test ready.
Really? How did it turn out?
Now this volume I'm noticing is a little loud, so I'm going to go back into audio gains. And it was set to -6. I'm going to set it to -10. And let's just see if that makes a difference.
Results of your test ready.
Really? How did it turn out?
And I think that was a lot better. All right, so now it's sounding pretty good.
Hi, thank you for meeting with me this morning.
Sure thing. It sounded urgent when you're
I think this is a little too soon. If you'll notice her lips right here, we don't necessarily want her to have to be doing that. So I'm going to trim this over just a tad.
Morning.
Sure thing. It sounded urgent when you're
And it
This
actually,
morning.
sure thing.
it actually might work out better if we trim hers and extend his. Let's see if this works better.
Meeting with me this morning.
Sure thing. It sounded urgent.
Yeah, I like that better. Now, this is subjective. So your edits are really kind of up to you. I would definitely get feedback because sometimes you're too close to it and don't really see it for what it is.
Morning.
Sure thing. It sounded urgent when you're
But I think that plays a lot better. So we've got our master.
Hi, thank you for meeting with me.
I love the lean in here.
Hi, thank you for meeting with me this morning.
sure thing. It sounded urgent when your secretary
And what works really well right here is she's moving, and she's moving in this shot. So I think it works great.
Sure thing. It sounded urgent when your secretary called.
I'm sorry if it alarmed you. It's just that we have the results of your test ready.
Really? How did
And then we've got another part where it just goes straight to
Ready.
her
really? How
when she's talking. So this is a big gap right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this clip and drag it over.
Alarmed you. It's just that we have the results of your test ready.
really? How
And I'm going to bring it a little bit more and let's just see.
Alarmed
What
you.
happens.
It's just that we have the results of your test ready.
really? How did it turn out?
All right, and I like that a lot better because now he's talking. We're seeing his mouth, his jaw move here, so we know he's talking.
It alarmed you. It's just that we have the results of your test ready.
Really? How did it turn out?
And that's that. Now, I think maybe I'm going to go back to a master shot. So if I come back here and do that, let's see where she says,
Test ready.
so she starts to say really. So I'm going to set my endpoint,
Really? How did it turn out?
and I'm going to end it right there before she turns back. Okay, so I don't need the audio from this. I just need to line it up to where she says really, and which we know is right here. So I'm now going to just click the video and drag it down. Okay, I'm going to try drag it down here. I'm going to now move it down to track 1. And now I'm going to just trim off the end of this. And let's see how it goes.
Alarmed you. It's just that we have the results of your test ready.
Really? How did it turn out?
And that works, right?
Really? How did it turn out?
I think that works. Now, it's awkward with them looking at me at the end, but that doesn't matter. We're not really doing this like to win awards. We were just doing it to show you how to shoot a scene using triangle coverage. Now, there we go. We've got it. We've shot a scene using triangle coverage. You'll notice that it is not everything on video track 1. It is not everything on audio track 1, although audio track 1 right now, there's nothing there. So I'm going to right click, delete tracks, delete empty tracks, and now there we go. We've moved that up. So now when I hit play bar, there, space bar to play it.
Hi, thank you for meeting with me this morning.
Sure thing. It sounded urgent when your secretary called.
I'm sorry if it alarmed you. It's just that we have the results of your test ready.
Really? How did it turn out?
Okay, now I think this audio right here might be a little loud. So I'm going to come here. We did -6, so I'm going to do -9, and let's see.
Called.
I'm sorry if it alarmed you. It's just that we have the results of your test ready.
Really? How did it turn out?
And there we go. That's the end of it. So that is how you shoot a scene with triangle coverage. We did that in class. You got your master shot and your two singles. And then this is how you edit it together. I'm going to do another video where I'll show you how to do the insert shot, but that will come later.